Hello everyone and welcome to the 17th episode of the 8th series of the Templeofsurf the podcast. Today with us, Robert Highsmith. We discuss with him about Plastic Fantastic, shaping surfboard, surfers and much more. Hello Mr. Robert, welcome to the show. Where are you today?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I live full time. And then I travel over to Huntington Beach to the glass shops twice a month.
Okay. So there is still a spirit of California in you, right?
Oh, yeah. I build our boards at 3 different glass shops in California, and then one in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, and one up in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay. So it's a lot of people are working for you, I guess.
Well, they're all skilled craftsmen. You know, most of them have been in the business for a long time, so they know how to do it. It's just expensive to build a surfboard these days. So
Yeah, very expensive. And as far as I understood, the margin on a surfboard is not that great, right? You need to produce quite a lot to have like a business, and quite a lot of shaper, they do it for passion more than everything else, right?
well, a lot of us have found that there's no money left in building surfboards due to various competitors from China, the popularity of the foamy surfboards you can get at Costco, and then a lot of the surf shops are overburdened with debt, overstocked, and some of the folks are feeling the effects of online shopping taking away from their business that they used to count on.
But there is nothing better than an experience, just to go to your local surf shop and choose your own board, maybe shaped by the same guy that owns the shop, right?
The true surfer loves the feeling of being able to see, touch, and feel a surfboard and then talk to somebody knowledgeable in the surf shop about building them one custom, which takes about 4 to 6 weeks now, average.
If you're lucky, 4 to 6 weeks, right? Because in certain cases, it goes for 4 or 6 months, even more than a year. Depends on the shaper, right?
Well, it's a fun business. I've been doing it since 1968, building them, and then I still got a lot of old friends on our Facebook webpage. We have 13,000 followers that we write stories every day. We post photos, items on surfing, where it's kind of a fun clubhouse to go and read and enjoy the whole history of surfing.
Yeah, definitely. Because, of course, Plastic Fantastic is one of the most iconic brand or surfboard, call it brand or logo, whatever, that exists, right? It goes back to, as you said, into the late 60s, early 70s with a lot of things. But rather than me telling everybody about Plastic Fantastic, maybe you can guide us through a little bit the history of the brand.
Yeah, it's been a good story because a lot of folks over the years have gotten the information about how we built surfboard. 1968, 3 guys started the company: Danny Callahan, a master shaper; Dave Garner, a great glasser; and Jack Cerrito, all around universal craftsman. They started the company in Hawaii and brought it to Huntington Beach. And they had the best surfers ever: Jock Sutherland, Jeff Hackman, Gary Chapman, a host of others. But the story problem that happened was they were all in the surf industry and not in the business industry. And before you know it, every surf shop in the country wanted their boards, and they were pumping out 40, 50, 60 a week, only they weren't getting paid for them. They had a lot of shenanigans, and before you know it, in 2 years, they were out of money, out of business, and everybody was waiting to get more product, which they couldn't produce. So It was running out of steam. I lived in Huntington. I had a surf shop there, and I bought the company from Danny, Jack, and Dave Garner in 1972 when we opened up the retail store on Coast Highway in Huntington Beach and filled it up with surfboards, and then filled the glass shops building new boards and sending them all over the East Coast, Gulf Coast, and West Coast. So we revived it. They were all great craftsmen. Rest in peace, Danny Callahan, the master shaper, who's passed away. And everybody knows the legend of plastic starting in all the movies back in the late 60s and the 70s. And we just kept it going.
Fantastic. It's such a great story. I mean, you said a lot of names and they're all legend, right? Legendary surfers or shapers. But what is your best memories of those early years of Plastic Fantastic?
Well, one of the things that was always a big headache in the business in the 70s was how do you get 10 brand new surfboards wrapped, boxed, and sent to, say, Florida without getting them damaged? Because the freight and cargo companies used to throw the boards around, they'd arrive damaged, broken. It was almost like a joke having surfboards in a cargo freight area because they always had some damage, which when they came into the surf shop, it's pretty tough to sell if the nose is broken. So we developed a program where we bought 3 Plastic Fantastic Ford vans, filled them up with 50 boards each, and we would drive from Huntington Beach to Galveston, Texas, go Corpus Christi, Texas, and deliver them there. Or we'd send 50 at a time to Jacksonville Beach. We had a warehouse retail store, and then up to 17th Street Surf Shop in Virginia Beach. So each van loaded would have 50 brand new boards that didn't have a scratch on them. So we built the brand back to the famous iconic legend because the surf shops could get a board undamaged where all the surfers would take pride in riding them.
Of course. And I guess all those trips with those wagon all across America were like fun, right? It was just not moving 50 boards and that's it, right?
Well, you know, when you're a young surfer, like all of us were, you had some freedom, you had fame, warm water, warm waves, warm women, and cold beer. So everybody in our group had a great time for years and years.
I'm sure of that. Quite sure. So in effect, we started this interview with already few questions, but the first question that I ask everyone when I start the episode is, in your opinion, what is the most important thing in surfing?
Well, what I'm seeing now is how the sport has opened up to more youngsters, more women and girls. It's a international sport now. It's not just men, it's all across the board, which I think is amazing. And as you see the contestants in the contests all across the country, the level of skill is improved. And so you've got young kids in young school age that say, I want to learn how to surf. So I always recommend take them to a professional surf school anywhere in the country, like Corky Carroll's and Huntington Beach or anywhere across the beach areas. It gives them in less than an hour the knowledge of how to enjoy the sport. But not so much that is then they want to learn how to buy and utilize the equipment. So you're going to need a wetsuit. You're going to need an entry level board, which the foamies sure have taken over for letting somebody enter the sport for say $100 to buy a foamy surfboard and see if they like it. Once they like it and they move up in their skill levels, they go ahead and enter into a custom board or a pre-owned board. And as their skills and fun in the sport develop, they improve their equipment.
Definitely. And it's a journey, right? It's with a surfboard, it never ends. We always want a new one, a different one. Luckily for the business, but also luckily for the surfers, that they really enjoy different style, different length, different shapes, and so talking about surfboards, what was your own first surfboard? Do you remember it?
Oh yeah, I bought a $25 Dave Sweet 9 foot log that we used to take out at Huntington Beach Pier, Newport Pier, and Seal Beach warm water river jetty. So a lot of us started on rough equipment, and if you liked the sport, you moved up. So it wasn't expensive, and when you compare it to once you buy your equipment, it's one of the most affordable sports and fun sports compared to like snow skiing or snowboarding or motorcycle racing. Once you buy the equipment, it's going to last you for a while.
Yeah, definitely. And in your opinion, what is the most important thing in shaping surfboards?
All across the country now, there's what they call surface supply houses where you can go and buy a surfboard blank, any size you want. You can buy the resin, the fiberglass, and all the things needed to build a board on your own or with somebody's help. Shaping is a skill that's acquired it's not overnight. You got to go through a learning curve. So you'll have a burn rate, you'll have to have somebody teach you. And it's a shaper has a skill like a craftsman woodworker. They're profusely important about the dimensions, about the thickness, about the skill of the surfer, and where that product's going to be used at. So the shaping industry offers shaping classes at some of the surfing supply houses, which is so important. I always encourage somebody that if they want to learn how to shape, is go into a surf shop, talk to a couple of the help, and find out who's shaping their boards, and try and find a mentor. A lot of people do it; they love it. And what's nice now is I'm seeing a lot of ladies get into the surfing shaping industry, which is great for the sport.
Definitely. I totally agree with you. And in your career, in your life, you met a lot of shapers. Was there one shaper that was particularly meaningful as a person to you?
Well, that's an interesting question because out of 60 years of building boards, I've had the pleasure of having Dale Velzy work for me, Terry Martin from Hobie worked for me, Trace St. Clair worked for us, Chuck Ray. We've had an abundance of shapers. Some of the ones that are left over from the early days of the Plastic Fantastic originals. Uh, Gentleman Dennis Choate out of Long Beach still shapes for us. So we've had no less than 100 come and go, and they've all been fantastic craftsmen. But if I had to point to one person, it would be Terry Martin. Rest in peace. Where he's probably shaped over 30,000 surfboards in his career for Hobie, Plastic Fantastic. We really appreciate him and miss him.
Wow. 30,000 surfboards is like an amazing number. It's,
You lose count.
yeah, you at a certain point, doesn't matter anymore. Like you lose count, and just like a kind for fun, I guess. And if I shift this to surfers, I'm sure you also met a lot of surfers. What was the key meeting that you had with one of them?
Wow, that's a loaded question there.
Very loaded. Yeah.
I want to get people upset with me.
No, I don't want to get you in trouble.
One of the all around best friends, employees, and surfer was Rick Rocking Fig Fignetti out of Huntington Beach on Main Street, who still has an active surf shop. He passed about a year or two ago. Rest in peace, Rocking Fig. But he was dynamic. He was an announcer for all the surf contests up and down the coast. He had a radio show with a surf report where his voice was unique, where you called in and you would get the latest water temps, surf conditions, and Huntington Beach. So he was an icon, and they even have a parade for him now down at Huntington Beach each year. Rocking Fix Surf Shop, and everybody loved him. So he was probably one of the best surfers in Huntington for many, many years, but just an all around nice guy, too.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. How do you see, from your point of view, innovation in surfboards today? Is still possible to innovate like it has been done in the 70s, in the 80s, or today we reach a level of production that is more or less stable, and so we don't have so much innovation. What is your point of view?
Well, a lot of it's already been accomplished. There's always new dimensions and new ideas coming out regarding carbon fiber boards, hollow boards, lightweight boards. But, it's pretty tough to beat the original foam shaped blank, quality fiberglass finish, whether it's pigmented with tint, airbrush, or a clear finish. And there's nothing better than that gloss and polish effect where when you look at it, you can see your like in a mirror. When people go into a surf shop, where I grew up in Huntington Beach, there was no less than 16 surf shops within a 2-block area. It was mega center, Surf City. So you had to have a product that stood out, as well as some team riders and other people promoting a brand, because there was so much to choose from. I think it's the same way today. I would ask people to stay away from buying a surfboard online because it's a recipe for a problem. You want to be able to touch it, see it, feel it, look at the rocker, see what the rail design's like, and the fin configuration on the bottom. Is it a single fin longboard, tri fin, quad fin, 5 fin? So nowadays, there's nothing like traveling around for a morning or afternoon with some friends, walking in a surf shop and then checking them out. It's a badge of honor for surfers. I think it's the greatest afternoon you could spend.
Definitely. And going back to Plastic Fantastic, of course, we talk about the good old times of the beginning of Plastic Fantastic. Today, what the brand represent? What are the projects that you're working on for Plastic Fantastic?
That's a great question. What we've been doing for the last 3 years is almost like a retro look. We brought back all the longboards, some with triple stringers, some with airbrush, some with full color tints. We've gone back to building the old model fishes of the day, 6 foot, 6'5", with twin fins, tri fins. And a lot of the times now, the mid range boards from 7 to 9 feet are versatile. So you've got folks my age that say, oh man, I remember those boards. I loved them then and I love them now. However, I think pricing is a major problem for the industry because all the materials have gone up substantially. I know a 3-stringer blank now costs me $200, where before it used to be 70. So by the time you pay a shaper, an average shaper might charge 100 to 150, and a glass job of 600 finish. So you're in a board about $1,000, my costs. So you figure, how do you get that retailer to buy it and make a markup at his end when there's so many inexpensive Chinese cheap boards flooding the market? So the industry is in a change, but I think a lot of folks appreciate made in the USA, a quality brand name. I love seeing old Jacobs, Hobies, Greg Knowles, Infinities, Stewarts, everything most of these are still being made. So it's a good time to be in the surfing industry, for folks that enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. And there is nothing better than a hand-shaped board if it's made in USA or if it's made in Europe or whatever. The most important thing is done with love and not mass-produced, right? So,
Yeah. We made some wakeboards for the boating industry.
okay, nice.
These were lightweight, and you could wake surf behind a boat with them. They only weigh 5 pounds, and a lot of folks enjoy those. It gives you a way to get on a lake and a
Yeah, yeah.
surf.
If
But
if they don't live next to the sea or if they want to try something different, it definitely is an option. Yeah. Cool. So I have 6 questions that I ask everyone in the show, and please answer the first thing that comes up to your mind. Okay.
yeah,
The best surfboard that you ever rode.
Phil Edwards Hobie 3 stringer, shaped
Wow.
shaped by Phil Edwards.
Wow. My God, that board is magic.
Yeah, if you could find them now, they bring quite a penny, but most surfers that have them will never part with them because it's a constant fun ride.
Yes, I guess so. I never had the experience to ride one, but I'm sure already Phil Edwards is such a legend. So it's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that. I don't want to get you in trouble, but who's your favorite shaper? You answered me already, right? Who is it?
Well, it was Terry Martin.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So,
rest in peace. Major Hobie shaper for years, and
uh,
for us, 70s.
personal question: your favorite song of or music genre?
Well, I don't want to date myself, but I think the music out of the Beach Boys for background music is still top for just easy listening.
Definitely this. Yeah, I mean, it's a sign of our era, right? So it's
But they spoke about not only surfing but girls, race cars, fast times. Just it was a great era. But even my boys listen to it because it's easy listening. I know it's corny, but
no,
it was
no,
fun.
no. It's not corny at all. It's you live those years, right? So maybe it will sound corny for anybody else, but you live those years, so it's memories of your youth, right? So there is nothing wrong with that. What's your favorite surf spot?
Well, at my age, I paddle out at a place called San Onofre down south of San Clemente. It's a place where young, old, middle has no boundaries. You pull up in your car, your van, in a dirt road, unpack the board and a chair and an umbrella, and paddle out. Uh, there's always the tide to worry about because if it's out, you're going to do the rock dance for 50 yards. And that's always edgy when you're carrying a board. But it's a place where everybody in the country comes to hang out. Doesn't matter if you're young or old, your skill level, and everybody's friendly.
Okay,
San Antonio is probably the best state park beach in the world.
okay, that's good. Thank you for sharing. And who's your favorite surfer of all time? Pro surfer.
It's a cross between Jock Sutherland and Jeff Hackman back in the day because they both had different styles. They both made their name in Hawaii on waves that most people wouldn't ride. I think a lot of folks still watch them in the movies. And although the younger kids in surfing may not recognize them because of the age difference, but I think anybody that's been around recognizes those two names as leaders in the sport, and they're still surfing. I talked to Jock 2 months ago. Still lives in the North Shore, Haleiwa, and Jock still gets out and surfs. And Jeff's over in Hawaii, so he's having a ball as well.
Fantastic. And the last question is a little bit unusual, but again, I ask everyone. I would like to know your best relationship advice.
Oh, that's easy. Don't be a wave hog. There's plenty of waves for everybody.
Okay, okay, that's a good point of view. Thanks a lot for being with me today at the show, and I look forward to talk to you very soon.
All right,
Very kind.
Thank you so much.
Likewise. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Hi, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed our today's episode. If you want to know more about us, please follow www.templeofsurf.com and all our social media. Mahalo!